We've done the headrace bearings, so the next thing we're going to concentrate on is the swing arm. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to start off by taking the chain off, well, slackening back wheel, taking the chain off, getting the wheel out, get this off, and then we'll be able to see, should be able to see the linkage a bit more clearly, which is under there. We're going to check all the linkage out. We're going to, like I say, have a go at taking this swing arm bearing off and check the bearings. So that's the next thing. So most bikes nowadays come with a continuous chain. I always run a split link in my chain, so this is a DID because the original chain, this is 20,000 miles now, the original chain was like an elastic band it had worn, and I've done a sprocket as well. So I've got a DID on here with a split link in, so we'll find a split link. So we'll just revolve the wheel till we see, there it is, see it, there's the split link, just there. So we'll slacken the wheel off, take the chain off, get the brake out of the way, take the hoses off. Obviously exhaust has got to come off. Actually we'll start with the exhaust, I think. Yeah, we'll start with exhaust and see how we go. Oops. Which is the clamp nut, or the exhaust clamp. The bolt. There you go. All over my span. My neck. So undo that. There you go. Here's your chain link. Right then, so we've undone the nut the other side, and we're just going to pull this spindle out. Pull the wheel and the spindle out. The wheel will drop. And there's the push drive, and the wheel comes out. There's your push drive, and those link in with the these rubbers in the hub, and that gives you a little bit of play. Gives you a little bit of play, and they call it a push drive. So that's metal, meshes in with these rubbers, and you get a little bit of cushioning on your rear drive. That's what that's all about. So next thing to come off. Next thing then is disconnect the brake hose. Again, you've got ABS. There's your ABS wire. These should just pull out of here. Yep. Now we need to put this somewhere. pull that up out of there, and then we're going to move it back. I don't want to put too much radius on that cable. Right, so the next thing we're going to do now that we've got the wheel out, I'll put a bungee around the swing arm because we're going to take the linkages off, and when we take the linkages off the swing arm I try to fall down, so drop down. So we're going to basically go in, here's your linkages, we're going to take that bolt out, and we're going to take these two bolts, and we're going to check the bearings. There's obviously a shock absorber. Now that's a bolt that just goes through a bush there, so there's no bearing in there, I wouldn't have thought. But these are what we're looking at, the bearings in these. And there's probably a bearing in there as well. That nut there. Oh, hey, yep. That's where I greased them before, and I put some waterproof grease on. So we might be in luck, because like I say, this bike's been underwater since I last did these bearings, so probably be better to have done the tops first, wouldn't it? So we will slacken off the tops first. There's a lesson we just learned. Do the tops first. Yeah, see, you can see the sort of crud that they get on them. Oh dear. And then they should just drop out. Ah, now they're bushings. So this is the moment of truth. So we take that out there. So that's that one. And then we'll bring this one out here, which is this one. All the crap on there, let's put on a bit of rag. So we got that's what we're looking at. Right, so the next part we take off is the this linkage here, because we've undone the shock, which is a straight bush through there. That's just a bush, there's no bearing involved in that, but there's a bearing up in there. So we've got to take this linkage off here. We've obviously got these two taken off. I've cleaned them up, and we'll have a look at the bearings. We'll inspect all the bearings in a minute, but we've got to get this off now, so we'll do that. Right, that's that off. We'll pull this bolt through if we can get it through. And the answer to that is no. So yeah, the bolt won't come out. I'll show you. I'm trying to pull it out of this linkage there, and it's fouling. It's fouling the stand. Lesson learned. So we're going to have to raise the stand. So I've got these things are brilliant. You always have one of these if you've got a bench. There you go. There you go. Now, have we got the clearance? Yes, we have. Brilliant. So, just grab hold of the linkage and pull the bolt. And oh, where's that coming out? Ah, there you go. Hey presto. There's your linkage. That looks, worryingly looks a little bit rusty there. But no, we've got the bearings seem smooth. So we'll clean this up and we'll have a look. So there's your main link for your suspension, your shock absorber. Your shock absorber goes in there, and this pivots. There's some bearings in there. This pivots on the frame bracket. And then you've got your two links here. Right, so we'll just push the centre like that, and you can see the bushing coming out, like so, which leaves your bearings. And they look fine to me. Well, I'm quite amazed. I re-greased that with some waterproof grease. So that's that one. Now we'll have a look at this other one, the second one. Push the centre bushing out. There it goes, look. Just push it up. Pull it out. Yeah, nothing wrong with those, they're okay. So we'll put the bushing, no, we won't put the bushing back in, but we'll lie that back down there. So that's those two done. Now we've got the linkage, the main linkage. So you've got bearings in there, bearings in here. So we'll push that bushing out, pull it out. Yeah, the bearings, they look fine in there as well, that end. So we're doing all right. So second bushing, push it up, pull it out, and we'll have a look at the bearings. And they look fine. There's nothing wrong with those either. So far so good, considering the bike is, well, just over about 21,000 miles. It's a 2018, so it's a few years old now, and it's been underwater a few times, and it's been used on the trails a fair bit, so I'm happy with that. I'm amazed that these things have lasted as long as they have. So there's your bearing. So we're going to get a bit of grease and we're just going to fire it in right here. Plenty in. Get right down in the bearings. Push it right down into the needle rollers, because that's what they call these, needle roller bearings. And then we get our little bushing. We'll put some on that as well. Probably putting too much on, but what the hell. And then you just push it down into there and then clean it up. Get it nice, get the grease packed in there, plenty of it. We just push that down through there. There you go. Clean all the guck off. Because these are sealed, there's a seal on there. So the Achilles heel of this bike is the bottom head race bearing seal. So there you go. I've been lucky with that. So all the bushings, linkage bushings are okay, the bearings are okay, and this linkage here, bearings are okay, all re-greased. Next thing now then is the swing arm. I think we've got to start with taking these caps out. And then there's a cap over here. So we get them off. Cap. That comes out. Right, so I put a socket on this end of the pivot bolt. So we got the swing arm off. I've got it stood up on end at the moment. This is a spacer and it fits in there like so, and there's a recess. I don't know if you can see the recess there. Now if those bushings go into this recess on the spacer, so that would hold it in. So if we push these out a bit, we push that one that way, that one that way, and that goes in between. And then it's difficult to do it one-handed, but anyway, that fits in there like that. So there's the bushing, and in there we push this out. So it's going out that way, it's coming this way. That looks nice and clean there. So hopefully I'll put this over with the rest of the stuff. Hopefully in there. Ooh! Right, let's get the torch. There you go. So those bearings in there, they look fine. So I've been lucky with those. I've been really lucky. We'll have a look at. We'll flip this one round. Put the swing arm round that way. And then we'll push him out. See, there goes your bushing. Need cleaning up a little bit, but we'll. Now, that is the right hand side. So we'll put those on the relevant sides. So we'll put those on the relevant sides, right and left. And we'll have a little look. Yeah, those bearings, they look fine in there. So, looks like I've been lucky. Yeah, there's no hitting on those surfaces. The only rust you've really got, or a little bit of abrasion, is on the running outside the bearing, and you can see the two lines there where the bearing sits. So we're all right on that one. I'm going to put the bushing through. Some grease on it. and we'll push it through this way. There. Yeah, that kind of fits in. We push the bushings back, push them through. Oops. That kind of sits in there. I've got this cap, and that's the seal. Stops the water going, and it's also a shim, so it's a certain thickness. So, and you can see the rubber on the outside. So let's just balance it on top of there, and I get some of this grease, and I'm going to fill that. I don't know whether this is what you're supposed to do, but because this is water, this is marine grease. If I fill that gap up there, hopefully it'll stop any water ingress if that seal fails, to a point anyway. So then you take this and you just pop it over the top. I'll clean all this up. I'll clean all this up later. And as you can see, this is now solid in there. It's being held in because the caps are on. Those caps are on. So I'm gonna, where that recess is, I'm gonna put grease around there as well. Right. So I'm gonna lift the swing arm into the pivot points, or round about. I've found the hole, and the axle's going through now, or that swing arm pivot bolt. Now the swing arm is pivoting. Let's come through on there, look. The bolt's actually where it's supposed to be. It's right back as far as it can go now. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I was lucky on that one because those bearings are fine. So what I do now is put the linkage back together. So your linkage goes up in there like that, and then this bolt goes through. We'll put the nut on the other side. Oh, where is it? And then your suspension, your shock absorber bolt. Now this is just a bush going through here with a rubber on it, like a rubber bush. So that goes in there like that. The bolt goes through, and your nut goes on there. We'll do that loosely. So that's your shock now situated. Clips on there like that. Right, so I put a socket on this end of the pivot bolt, the swing arm pivot bolt or shaft, and I'm just going to ratchet it up this side. Well, we'll now check to see whether it that's working. So we'll get that out of there. There's the bolt. We've got to put the caps back on, but I'm going to silicone those in because you've got a nice free swing arm movement there now. So all we got to do now is put the linkages in. and I'll explain about the linkages and how you can lower this bike basically. I think Hitchcock's do a lowering kit, but I'll show you all about it anyway. So these are what I call the links. Now the links connect the pivot point, which is here on your shock absorber, to your swing arm. So these brackets, they go in like that. Now that's a set distance, look, and that'll fit in there. Now if you wanted to bring your swing arm up a bit, so effectively you're lowering the bike, these linkages need to be a bit longer. See, they fit in like that, they go in like that, see? But if you wanted to bring the swing arm up, which would be effectively lowering the back of your bike, you need to buy some longer links. So that theoretically, if you had them half an inch longer, you know, you'd probably get half an inch on your swing arm. I don't know, but I don't know what the ratio is on it, but that's what you need. Longer links if you want to lower the back of your Hemi, and it's these things here. So anyway, let's put these in. Put that in, lift the swing arm a little bit to centre the bolt, and the bolt goes through. So this in effect is tying your shock absorber to your swing arm, all on these links. I think some of the KTMs, they'll have a shock absorber directly onto the swing arm, but this is what they call a linkage anyway. Let's go around and do the other side. Just run the bolt through like so. There you go. So there you go.